Hello everyone, welcome to
Eat with Pete.
So today we've got my son, Dominic,
Hello.
and he wanted to join in on the fun because my daughter Diana had to go last week. Today we're going to make a really simple recipe, and it is...
Cabbage rolls with turkey filling.
And we're going to flavour that with some curry and some mint. So Dominic here is going to take you through the ingredients. He doesn't really like to talk that much, but he's going to do it for us now.
We're going to need about 4 large cabbage leaves,
4.
about 6 or 7 mint leaves, 200 grams of turkey mince, 100 grams of Pete's sauerkraut, and our herbs, spices and flavourings, which are about a tablespoon of tamari soy sauce, a teaspoon of onion flakes, a teaspoon of granulated garlic, a teaspoon of curry powder, and some salt and pepper to taste.
Now to make our cabbage leaves pliable, and it's about 200 grams, so it makes about 4 large leaves, we're going to microwave it because we want this to be a really quick recipe. You could blanch it in hot water, but I'm going to microwave it just to make it a bit easier. So while we're sitting here having hugs, we just pulled this out of the microwave and you can see the cabbage is quite floppy but still crisp. We don't want to overdo it. So it took 4 minutes to do the 4 pieces. Okay, so they're quite pliable. We're just going to leave them in the bowl, not going to cool them down, and we're going to get on to the next part, which is making our filling.
The next part is get a big bowl. Now we're going to put the minced meat in our big bowl.
Good job. Next we're going to move our bowl and we're going to cut up our mint. And we're going to put that into the bowl.
Next we're going to cut up our sauerkraut.
Do you want me to do that or would you like to do it?
Dad, I can't use a big knife.
Okay, well Dad's going to cut up the sauerkraut. Now it's a little wet, so it might make a bit of a mess, but we want it to be very fine, and this is 100 grams of sauerkraut. And we're just going to put that into our meat mixture. Now we're going to add our herbs and spices to the mix. Dominic, do you want to do that?
Yes.
Okay. About a teaspoon of granulated garlic, about a teaspoon of curry powder, just a dash of pepper, and also a dash of salt. You can put this one in, just 2 shakes of onion flakes. That's more than 2. And last but not least, we're going to put in, what's this?
Tamari soy sauce.
Tamari soy sauce. So we're going to put about a tablespoon. I don't measure things, you can if you like. The next part is we're going to mix. And this is where Dominic gets involved. Mix it very thoroughly so that you get all the herbs and spices throughout the mix. Pretty messy. Satisfied with that, Dominic?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Now, we're going to take one of our leaves and we're going to put about a quarter of the mixture. So Dominic, that's about a good handful for you. Work out about a quarter right in the middle for me.
That much?
Yep, that looks good. Okay, great. Now we're going to try and roll this up neatly. We're going to position this here and roll it halfway and roll the edges in. Roll the edges in, and we're going to try to keep it together as best we can. Okay, and that's one roll done. So we've rolled our cabbage rolls, we both got our hands dirty, and Dominic's now cut up the foil, so thank you, Dominic.
You're welcome, Dad.
The next step is for us to wrap these up and get them into the oven. So preheat your oven to 180 degrees. And we're going to wrap these up. Move your cutting board aside and we'll let Dominic do this part. One here, pick up a cabbage roll and put it right in the middle. Okay, and now we're going to take one side, put it over the top, flatten it out. Other side, okay, like this. I'll just show you the first one and then go over the top and then over the top. And that way we won't have any liquid leaking out, okay? Little parcels. So you want to go ahead and do the next one?
Yep.
I'll do the last one. Right in the middle. Fold. Fold. Fold and fold. Now that our parcels are ready, we're going to put them in the oven on a baking tray to make sure that we don't have juice leaking out for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then we'll check them. Alright, so we've just taken this out of the oven. It's still very hot, so we're going to leave it in the foil packets for about 5 minutes. Now that it's been sitting for about 5 minutes, we're going to unwrap them very carefully, and there'll be lots of juice in there, so you've got to be careful. Now, using our tongs, we're going to carefully take and slide it onto a plate. Do this for all of them, and then we're going to pan fry them for about a minute or two, just to give it a bit of crisp, and then we'll serve them. So we're just going to cook them for about a minute on each side, just to give the leaves a bit of colour. And at this point, I'm going to put a little bit of tamari in just over the top. So the cabbage rolls are now done. They smell so good, and I'm just going to plate them up and show you what it looks like.